Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chico the Millennial. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for you guys. If you are a subscriber, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. It's absolutely free. It will not cost you anything. It's just a second of your time. Just go down there and just subscribe and join us, and that will just be awesome. So listen, today I want to tell you guys about my interview experience. Yes, when you win the green card, you still need to go for an interview. A lot of people think like when you win the green card, there's no interview. Me saying a lot of people, I also mean for me, that's what I thought. I thought that I'm just gonna go through, there's no interview process. No, there actually is an interview process. And the thing is, that's the finish line actually. That's like the last thing you need to, you need to do, because there's so much that goes into this before getting there. And so I have been to the embassy 3 times, guys, 3 times, and each time I got denied because I wasn't. That was before the interview for the green card. That was because the interview for the green card, that was my last time in the embassy. But before that, I had been to the embassy, guys, and I got denied a visa because I was trying to come and visit, and then I was gonna Cambodia after, but I was trying to visit, and but I got denied every single time, and they had their reasons. Like, I remember sometimes they would ask me, the first time they asked me if I'm married, if I have any children. I told them no. They asked me if I have like a paying job, like a job, a salary job. I said yes. They still said that even if I had a salary job, it doesn't mean I'm gonna come back. So that was one reason why they denied me. Another one, the second time they asked me again, do you have children? They said that I do not have a reason to go back to the country. Can you imagine that I do not have a reason because I don't have kids in the country? Like, what if I want to go back to my home? It's like they can see. I don't know how these guys, it's like they usually, like, they think about everything before you even talk. They just know what you want to say. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys about my green card interview process. So after the whole medical and everything, and getting my interview date for the embassy, I just planned everything. I took my papers. I remember my interview was, it was just crazy, because I remember I had to change a host last minute. Like 2 days before, I found out that I needed a different host. And let me tell you, I was just scared because I didn't know that it was okay to just change a host. I thought like they will ask you like, why are you changing a host? Like, where did you get this new host from? Why did you change it? Why are you not using the other host you had before? And I was scared because at this point, having been to the embassy and been denied, I knew like something like that would just cause. And it's just, with the American embassy, you never know what's gonna happen. That's the place where you do not have any control. Like, you cannot, whatever they say, and there's no arguing. Like, you can discuss anything. Whatever the person at the other side of the screen, whatever they say at the other side of the glass, whatever, the wall, whatever they say, that goes. Like, there's no changing their mind. Whatever they've decided, that's it. So I was really scared. And I remember that morning, I was so it was the previous night. I was coming from work. I was at work the previous day before I went, and I needed to get some documents from my new host, and I had to wait for those documents to come in, because it was a whole, like, I'd already planned everything with my former host. I had planned everything with my former host. All the papers I had them. But then now I found out that I needed to change my host, and then I had to get new papers. So it was at night. I was leaving town. I got home at night, and it was around 6 o'clock, and I had to wait for my host, who is here, to send me the documents. So when they sent me the documents, all the cybers were closed. Like, it's in Ngong town, all the cybers are closed around 8 p.m 9 p.m. So I was really stressed out, because who is going to a cyber at 9 p.m? That's why they close early. Some of them even close at 7 p.m. So luckily I saw this this shop that was open. It's like an office. He's still there. I even say hi to him whenever I go home. He has it's like an office. He does printing stuff. He does like to apply for you a PIN number, like those jobs that people need to do for cyber. But it's not like he lets customers inside. It's like a shop where he's inside, and he has his computer and his stuff, and you let him know what you want him to do for you, and he does it for you. So I went and I told him, so I need to print some papers that are coming to my email, but we have to wait. Oh my gosh, we waited until like 11 p.m. and this man, he didn't leave. He stayed there with me and just waited, and I just begged him and I told him, please just hold on, just wait, the papers are coming, just give me some time. And he actually did, and he's a really good person. I was just like, for someone to be patient enough, and he was like, he's telling me, oh, you know, I have to go home, and I'm like, please do not leave me, because I am leaving for my appointment was at, I think, was it at 8 a.m. It was really early, because I remember we left home around 6 a.m. So it was really early, and there's no way I would have gotten those documents in the morning. Like, I decided I'm gonna get everything ready right now, because having been there before, I didn't want anything to go wrong. So he helped me, we printed everything, I made sure I have all the documents, and I was so happy. I was so grateful to this person, and I went home. And I got all my outfit, like I knew what I was gonna wear, and I planned my outfit. You know how we think, like, I used to think that you have to present yourself in a certain way. You have to wear like maybe a blouse and a skirt, like you have to have an official outfit. That's what I thought. So I got everything ready for the day. So I showered and I slept. In the morning at 6, all of us, we were out. Like, my mom took me with my sisters. We all went to the embassy, and they waited for me somewhere outside. You know, the embassy is somewhere downhill, so they waited for me at the top of the hill. There were some restaurants over there and some shops, so they waited for me over there, and I went to the embassy. So I went in, I got checked, but in the morning before I left, I made sure I made sure I had everything, like all the pictures, everything that I needed. I made sure that I have them in the file. So that morning when we went, they waited for me, and I went into the embassy. I got checked. Of course, you have, like, they have really, their security, the process is very serious. Like, they have to check you everything, you have to be checked your bags, you have to go through stuff. So that's what I did, and then I got into the embassy. Remember, I had to change my host, but I didn't tell them that there's no way to tell them, but I knew I had to change my host. So I had the papers for my current host, and the papers for my host that I was supposed to change. So I have these 2 hosts here, and I'm going into the embassy with these 2 papers. So I went in, and I sat down, and we were called in. First, they call you in and they give you a number. So I was scared, because I thought, this is it, like, I'm going in. But they told me, no, here's a number. When this number, if this number is called, then you go to a certain the embassy is like a bank. You see how you have tellers in every, like, spot? So that's how it is. So they told me, whenever you're ready, just go to maybe teller number 3 or teller number 2. So I was told to go to a certain teller. So I got my paper, I went and sat down outside, and I was just shaky, and my nerves were everywhere, let me tell you. That's when I was like thinking, oh, by the time I'm leaving this place, I'm gonna know what's going on. Tonight when I'm sleeping, I'm gonna know what happened. Tomorrow in the morning when I wake up, I'm gonna be knowing if I'm going to the US or I'm not, if it worked out or it didn't. So I was really scared. So as I sat down there came this lady. We're just talking, and she was a nurse, and she was going to US through a job, and we're just talking about stuff. And I was just like, okay, so how are you gonna get papers? And I'm like, in case I don't get the papers, you know, you can help me out and stuff, you know. So when my number got called, I went in, and I went in with all my papers, and I just went to this teller, and she was a very nice lady. I think she wasn't white. I don't know, she was maybe Indian mixed with something. She wasn't white. So I went there, and I said hi to her, and she asked me, do you have all your documents? I said, yes, I do. I have, like, you have your high school certificate, your college certificate, everything that you've done academically, everything, all your, like, your birth certificate, everything. So I put them on the table over there, and I asked her. It's not a table, like, you get it, like how a bank is, right? So I put them over there, and I asked her. I just said, oh my God, this is it. I asked her, okay, so I need to change my host. Can I do that? And I was scared, because I was just expecting her to tell me, oh no, you can't. If you don't have, if you're changing your host, just leave now, because you're not gonna make it through. Or I thought they were gonna say you have to have like a valid reason, or like a paper saying that this host has changed their mind, or this host is not gonna be in the country at that time to host you. Like, you, that's what I thought, guys. But guess what? This person, she said, of course you can change it. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so happy. Like, that was the only thing that I thought was gonna bring me back. Like, I thought that was the only thing that was gonna make me get denied my visa. Like, I knew that was a big problem. So this person to tell me, of course I can change my host, oh my gosh, I was just so happy. Like, I just felt like, definitely they're giving me this green card. Like, there's no way they can deny me a green card. I've won twice. Like, this is the second time. Like, this is the second green card. There's no way they can tell me not to, they're not gonna give me a green card. So I gave them all my papers, and I went back with my previous host papers, and I sat down, and I found the lady who was there we were talking with. She'd already gone in there. So I was just sitting down outside waiting, and then they called my number. When they called my number, I went. I was just scared, because now we're in a line. Now it's not, you're not going directly to the teller, like you're like 6 people in a line. They're not letting you, all of you, enter the embassy. You were just like maybe 6 at a time or 5 at a time. And I was just in line, and I was waiting, and I'm looking at the people who are ahead of me. And so whenever you're denied a visa, trust me, I know, you're given a pink paper. It's like reddish pink. So I was just there. The first person was given a reddish pink paper, guys, and I was like, oh wow. And you don't know what can happen. Like, already I told you guys, if you watched my previous videos, I've told you about the documents that we were surprised with. Like, we didn't know that we needed some of the things they expected us to have, and they hadn't told us. So I wonder how they expected people to have that information. So I was scared. I was like, what if they have something, there's something that you should have. And I'm not even thinking that these people, even the person who's been denied, maybe they're not here because of their green card. Maybe they're here because of something absolutely different, So I was just in line and just waiting, and then the second person went on, and people were just going to different tellers, and in my mind I'm like, I'm not gonna go to the lady with glasses, because she's the one who denied me the visa the last time. So I was just looking at these guys, but you don't choose where to go. It's just like whatever teller is empty, you just go there. So I got to my turn, and I went there. I was just shaking. Like, that's when guys, you're not in control of your body. The mind is a strong thing, guys, because I was shaking. Like, I was literally, like, my body is shaking. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm shaking. I can't even talk. I'm just shaking. And I said hi to this person, and they said, hi, how are you? And they said, oh, so these are your papers. So she gave me my papers. And she asked me, so, because you when you went and give out your documents at the first place, they gave you back everything, and they took the host papers. The person who's going to host you, they take that, but they give you back your certificates and your birth certificate and whatever. So whatever you have is just the host, whatever they left with is the host papers, and you go back with the documents. So when I went there, she said, okay, so what's your name? I told them my name. They asked me, okay, so they told me, congratulations, you won the green card. I said, okay, thank you. And then I'm not even smiling. I'm like, you just tell me what you're telling me right now. Stop wasting my time. So she said, she told me, okay, so you won the green card. I said, yes. She looked at my host. She said, okay, so what's your host's name? I said her name. She asked me, what's your host's husband's name? And let me tell you, this is where, like, you have to know who's your host, because guys, if you're coming here and you get a host, make sure you know about that host, because they're not going to send you to just a random person. They want to make sure that wherever you go, you're going to be comfortable enough to stay there, and you're not going to end up in the street, so that you can become a liability to their government. So they need you to tell them, if it's, because they asked me, what's the name of your host? I told them. They asked me, what's the name of your husband's host? Your host's husband. Hold on. Your husband's host. Your host's husband. Yes, what's the name of your host? Yeah, whatever, you get what I'm saying. So they asked me that, and I told them the name, and they were like, okay. And then asked me, so you're done, so you finished high school, and what did you do after high school? I told them. And when I went to give them the papers, she was like, no, it's okay. And then she said, I've granted you the visa. Hey guys, I wanted to scream. I was so happy, just like that. And she didn't even want to look at my papers. She was like, definitely, like, that's it, like, just go ahead. And I was so happy, guys. I was so excited. Like, I felt like I would scream. Before, when I had been denied a visa, I remember my knees Hey, you guys, you hear people saying their knees, they lost their, now what do you call this? You guys don't want me to talk Swahili. What do you call when you feel like your knees are, yeah, you feel your knees are weak. My knees could not hold me. Like I was just shaking. But this time I was so happy. I just wanted to scream. I was holding on my papers. I just took them and I said thank you, and I turned real fast and I left. Like I don't want to wait for her to tell me anything. And then she said, excuse me. And I was like, oh my God, here we go. But when I turned, she said, you have to go over there so you can go pay. I don't know whatever. I didn't even hear what she said. I went over there and I paid, and then I left. And I went outside the embassy, and guys, I didn't even go outside first. I went back to where I was sitting with the nurse, the lady who was a nurse. And I was just sitting there. And I was like, what just happened? And then I said, okay, let me just go. And then I left. As I was walking out of the embassy, I just walked all the way out, and I was so happy. I was like this is when it hit me, guys. That's when, like, the walk from the embassy to where my family was, I was like, oh, wow. So that's it? Like, it's happening? Like, I'm leaving? Like, I'm going to leave my family? That's when it hit me. I was thinking, now everything was now real. Because, you know, when you were excited about something and then you get denied, you don't want to have like all your hopes in there, you know. So I didn't want to get too excited. But when I got the visa, when they took, because when you're given the visa, they take your passport. You don't go back with your passport home. So they take it, and then when you're applying for the when you're doing the whole process, you're going to tell them where to send your passport with a visa. So that's where they're going to send it. They're going to send it to DHL. They sent mine to Yaya Center. Was it Yaya Center in Hurlingham? I think it's called Yaya Center, yeah. I think it's not Sarit Center. Sarit Center is in Westlands. That's Yaya Center. So they sent my passport there. So I didn't have my passport. I was just walking back to where my family was, and I was just walking, and it's an uphill, and I went and I found my family there, and I pretended to be sad. I was like, oh guys, they denied me the visa, you know, whatever, you know, God's plan. And they were just looking at me, and I'm telling you guys, they were not disappointed. Let me tell you, I was shocked because they were not disappointed. I was waiting for them to be like, oh no, what? Nobody said like, oh my gosh, nothing. They were like, oh, it's okay. You know, they were like, okay, that's good. But let me tell you, I was just like, okay, so this is gonna be bad when I tell them that I was given the visa. So we just sat down and we ordered lunch. And we're just having lunch, and then I told them, guys, guess what? They gave me the visa. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, we cried. Everybody was just looking at us. But I think it made sense because we were near the embassy. So maybe they thought that, or they thought maybe we got bad news, or we're just crazy people. But we just cried, and that's when it hit me that I was leaving my family behind. Because let me tell you, that was a crazy situation. If there's something I am very grateful for, is that I never have to go back to that embassy, because it is so nerve-wracking. It can break you down every single time. Because guys, I don't know why, but sometimes you can meet people. I've met people who they got their visa instantly. You know, they just go there and they're given their visa. Maybe they're visiting. But one thing I came to realize is if you have something that's holding, but really you can't even guess. Because I have a friend of mine who got denied because they told her because she's never left the country before. Like, you've never left the country, so we're not going to give you the visa. That was weird. Because for me, it's always been like, I don't have anything holding me down. So they're not going to give me the visa. Like, they want something that's going to make me come back. But for this person, they told them, well, with the new policy right now, we're only giving it to the people who have already what am I saying? For this person, they said we're only giving it to people who've traveled before, which kind of makes sense, because they're gonna think like you're going to visit America. Like, have you visited anywhere else? Like, before you go to the big stuff, have you even tried like countries around you or whatever? And that's what I thought. I said, okay, that makes sense. But every time I feel like they do you know, they do not decide. That's what I was told. Someone told me that they do not decide they do not decide there and then. Like, they always decide earlier. Like, they have their briefings or whatever. They're like, give this one, deny this one, give this one, deny this one. So whenever you go there, that's why you don't argue or discuss anything, because it's already decided. They're not gonna give you, they're not gonna give you. So guys, that was my experience. It was just crazy. And you know, right now with everybody who's planning to go to the embassy with the green cards, I hope that you guys are prepared. Make sure you have everything. Make sure you check out my video. I've done a video about the requirements that you need and stuff. Make sure that you have everything that you need, because you will not have, like, you know. And let me tell you also, if you have, you know, some people, I met someone who told me that they had already won a green card, but they had to wait like a whole year. I found that really weird. But you know why? Because they had TB. Because you know, when you go to IOM, when you do the test for the green card process, you have to go to the hospital to get the test done. So they found that this person had TB. So the person had to take all the medicine, and the TB had to be healed and everything first before they went back to the embassy. So even when you have like a wrong document, like if your ID, or not your ID, because they don't even ask about your ID, if your birth certificate has a problem, like, it's gonna postponed. And you know, they keep giving people green cards. They're not gonna set that green card aside for you. So make sure you have everything prepared before you go. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you do your research. Like, make sure you have everything in order. Make sure that whatever you fill in the DS260 is what you're gonna carry on that day. The same documents, the same names. Make sure that when you're doing your D260, there's somewhere that talks about your social security. Make sure you choose to have a social security so you can work. Like, you have to be careful with this whole process. It's very tedious, but let me tell you, once you're here and you receive your green card like this, because when you come here, you still have to go and apply for your green card. You still have to wait for it to come. It's like a whole process. To an ID, you see how IDs take time home, like whatever, like you take a long, like, it's a process. Here you have to apply for your green card, you have to apply for your DL. Once you have all those, then that's when the process stops. But don't be tired. Just make sure you have everything. Just try and make sure you have everything at hand. If you do not have money to pay for the green card, you can always pay for it when you come here. You don't have to pay for it there. You can come here and then you're gonna pay for it here. I think that's all, guys. I don't think there's anything else that I went through during my green card process. That's everything. I'm telling you. You can change your host last minute. Don't be scared about that. Just go and tell them that you need to change your host. And I think that's it, guys. I want to thank you so much for listening to me, spending your time with me. I also want to thank you guys for all the compliments I've gotten about this hair. So this hair, I got it from AliExpress, from a store called All Love, yeah. It's 100% human hair. It is, I think it's 18 inches, if I'm not wrong. It was 18. Was this 18? I think this was 18 inches. And this hair was the best investment I have ever made, guys, because this hair, can you imagine if I tell you how long I've had this hair for? It has not shed. Look at all this hair. It was 180% density. This hair, I got it from Olive AliExpress. I'm gonna link it, or I'm gonna tag them, or you're just gonna find it in my description. It's the best investment I ever made. This hair, you see it like this, it is 3 years old. Can you see that? It's 3 years old. I got it I think in 2020, the beginning of 2020. Can you imagine? I've had it for 3 years and it still looks good like this. I also have I got two. I have another one that I cut into a fringe. With the hair, you can pat it anywhere. It's just amazing hair, guys. Just check them out. Go buy from them if you need it. You can also buy from, when you're in Kenya, they can ship it to you. Just make sure you go to AliExpress and then write All Up. The reason why I chose that hair, and I always go back to buy hair there, is because they're the ones who delivered, and I got what I wanted. When you're looking for hair, look for the people who have like 5 stars or 4.7 or 4.5, or someone to tell, like how I'm telling you now that I got this hair from them, someone to tell you where they got the hair. Then you know it's 100% human hair, and then you know that it's genuine hair, and you're gonna get your hair. There won't be any problems with shipping or whatever, because it's something that I've done before. It's really good, guys. The only reason I've not glued it on is because I'm only having it on for a week, because I have to do my hair in like 3 days. So otherwise I usually use Ghost Bond to glue it on. This is Ghost Bond. It's the best when it comes to gluing on wigs. So anyway, guys, I am so grateful, so grateful for you guys. Have an awesome time. Always be kind, and I will see you guys in my next video. Yes, I forgot, I wanted to tell you guys. So I just came back from New York. I was only there for 3 days, and everything was so fast. Everything happened so fast. I didn't have time to take any videos or to vlog, guys, or even I just took pictures and posted on my Instagram because, guys, I was busy. I was so busy I couldn't do anything. I was just taking pictures on the move. I just hope that if you're on Instagram, if you all are following me on Instagram, then you got to see that. If not, then next time, guys. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful time. I'm just gonna finish this video and go to sleep. I will see you guys tomorrow.